Okay, so just to take up a few of these really quickly, this one right here, negative 12 minus negative 20. So on your calculator, remember I said try to find one that has a plus or minus sign. This will help save a lot of silly points. So negative 12 minus negative 20. Okay, when you do that on the calculator, you get 8. So 8 squared divided by negative 2 to the power of 5 minus 3. Okay, 8 squared, 8 times 8, 64. Negative 2 to the power of 5, what's that? Who knows the answer? Negative 2 to the power of 5. Negative 32. And if you're not so good with mental math, that's why. You use your friend, your calculator right here. Put it in bracket, negative 2, close the bracket, exponent 5. All right. This is the exponent button, or sometimes it's a button like this on your calculator, either the hat or this y to the x button. So this will give you the answer negative 32. Okay. It's important to put the brackets because otherwise it could be a difference between positive and negative. All right. Should I divide first or subtract first? Yep. Divide. Yeah, so 64 divided by, again, negative 32. You get negative 2. So negative 2 minus 3, you get your final answer, negative 5. Okay. One thing I want to show right here, the 64 divided by negative 32. If I put it like this, I'm going to get an error. I'm going to get an error. What did I type wrong? Why did it give me an error? 64 divided by negative 32. Why is my calculator being mean? Yeah, Luca? Do you know why? No, not so much the bracket. Okay, I'll type again what I just typed. All right, so 64 divided by negative 32. Yeah. Right. So I didn't press this. I pressed the minus sign. So 64 divided by minus 32, that doesn't sound right already. So that's why I was saying, make sure you press the negative sign when it's a negative, and this is the subtraction sign. Right? So when I do that, I get the negative 2 that I was looking for. And then here, negative 2 minus 3. Notice how I read this? Negative 2 minus 3. So I press the minus button in this case. All right. A lot of people are confused with the minus sign and the negative sign, and then they make the mistake on the test. So that's why I wanted to go over this example so you know not to press the wrong button and then get the wrong answer on the test. Okay. Let's do okay, let's do this one. Again, I'm just picking and choosing ones to take up. So here, negative 3 plus 6 gives you 3 minus something. What's negative 2 squared? Positive or negative? Positive. That's right. Again, the brackets. Negative 2 to exponent 2, you get positive 4. So 3 minus what give you positive 4? Right, can 3 minus a positive number give you 4? Charles?
Negative 1.
Negative, right.
I like the trick question.
Good. All right, because 3 minus negative 1, all right, 2 negative make a positive, so you get the 4. Okay, you can never minus a positive number and then get a bigger number. So the only way that could happen is if you're minusing as negative, because two negative make a positive. Right? I hopefully you guys paid attention yesterday and realized that the answers are on the bottom of the page. There were 14 questions. How many of you got more than 10 correct? Right? More than 12 correct. All 14 correct. Okay, good. Okay, if you got all 14 correct, good for you. If you didn't get all 14 correct, make sure you are using your calculator on the test to certify your answer. All of these, you could have used a calculator to just punch it in to get your answer. Okay, so if you see a question like this, it's supposed to be easy marks. So don't lose marks on these type of questions. Okay, moving on to page 2. Okay. Okay, page 2 right here. Again, I'm gonna pick and choose some of these questions to go over with you, and then I'm gonna give you guys time to practice in class. So for the first one right here, I just want to reduce the fraction to lowest term. What goes into both 6 and 30? Isn't it?
Minus 1 minus 5.
Good. Okay, what did you divide both numbers by?
5 times is 6.
Good. Right. So notice for every fraction, you always have to reduce. I can divide the top by 6 and the bottom by 6. So I get I can do that. That's a common factor for both. Negative and a negative. What does that make? Positive, right? So then I know my answer is going to be positive. So it's 1 over 5. Right? Same thing for these. So let's say number 3 right here. I'm just gonna again I'm picking and choosing questions. So number 3 right here. Here's a little trick. Whenever it's an even number, I can always divide it by 2. So if the top and bottom are even, I can always divide it by 2. So who's good at mental math here? Who's good at mental math? Okay, Elizabeth, what's 36 divided by 2?
That is 2 ounces of wheat.
All right, but I want to do one step at a time. All right, so Charles, what's 36 divided by 2? And then what's 54 divided by 2? 7, right? Good. Okay. Is this a good final answer? No. Why? Luca? It's not the lowest term. What else goes into both 18 and 27? 9. Good. Okay, thank you for raising your hand, Charles. Alright, divided by 9. So 18 divided by 9, I get 2. And then 27 divided by 9, I get 3. So now it's in the lowest term. If I could have divided from here to here in one step. I could have divided both by 18. But not everybody saw that 18 was a common factor right away. Okay, so if it takes you 2 steps, if it takes you 5 steps, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So let's do this one. Let's do number 2 right here. What are these type of numbers called? Do you guys remember the names of these? One second. Dean? Mixed numbers. Good. Okay, so these are called mixed numbers when you have a whole number and a fraction. All right, but what's the very first step I need to do? When I have a mixed number, I need to change it to
Proper fraction.
improper. I need to change it to an improper fraction. How do I do that, Charles?
So you mix the times the whole number with the number bottom.
And then?
and add it to the number on top. Add to numerator.
Right. Okay, let me zoom in on that. Right. So you multiply and then you add. So does that mean I do 2 times -3 plus 1? Ah, why not? It's going to get messed up. So I don't put that negative. I leave the negative on the outside and I just do 2 times 3 plus 1. Right? The whole fraction is negative, not just the 3. So when I do that, it's -7/2. Okay, this is the common mistake that people do. And you know what? Like why people like my class is I point out the common mistakes that you see on tests. All right. So when I point it out, then you have a less likely chance to make that mistake on test. Right. So this is one of them. So then can you guys do this one for me? Change this to a improper. And you can use your calculator if you want. Okay, what is this? Hassie? -27/13. Perfect. Right, Yusuf? Yeah. All right. So now can I just subtract the top? No. Why not? What do I need? Whenever you add or subtract fractions, you need common denominator. So I need common denominator. Whoops. Let me zoom out a little. I need a common denominator. Okay. So easiest way to do common denominator is to multiply these two basically. So 2 times the 13 will give you the 26. So when you multiply both the bottom, you will always get a common denominator. Okay. So I kept the negative, I changed the denominator, right? But I can't just change it. I can't just change the bottom. If I change the bottom, I have to change the top as well. Just like when we reduced the fractions. 2 times what gives me 26? 13. So then 7 times 13 gives me 91. Right? Same thing. Yusuf, 13 times what gives you 26? 2. So then 27 times 2, close. 27 times 2, 54. All right, so whatever you multiply to the bottom, you have to multiply to the top. All right. Now that both of them have the same denominator, I can combine them. I can just subtract the top. Okay, so 91 minus 54. What mistake did I make here? Charles?
They're both negative.
Negative. A lot of people like to leave out the negative sign on tests. All right, so negative 91 minus 54. Okay, and you get negative 145. Okay. All good? So far, so good? Good. Okay. Let's try this one. Let's try number 4 right here. Okay, so whenever I see mixed numbers, I have to change it to an improper fraction. Somebody who's been quiet. Who can change this for me? Negative 4 and 2/3. Okay. Dean, do you have a question? Okay. You can feel free to ask me too. Okay. Now Reed, can you help me with this one? Can I change it to improper fraction?
Yeah. So 3 times 4
Yep.
plus 2.
Which is
14.
14. Good. So what do I write?
14
Over 3. Right.
negative.
Right. See, I told you. You guys like leaving out the negative sign. It didn't go away. It's right here. So negative. Don't forget to carry it down. Common silly mistakes that people always do. Right? Divided by. Alright. Same idea right here. Multiply and add. So what's my fraction here? Michelle? Over. Perfect. Okay. Do I need lowest common denominator here?
No. You're multiplying.
Because I'm multiplying and dividing, right? So here, no common denominator. I don't need it. Right. What's the difference? Why did I need it here? Because I was adding and subtracting. So when I add or subtract, I need lowest common denominator. When I'm multiplying or dividing, I don't. Okay. Going back to grade 9, how do I divide fractions? Right. So those who were in my class last year, uh, KFC, not really KFC. Keep, change, and flip. KCF. Okay. So keep the first fraction, change the sign, flip the second fraction. Okay. It might make you hungry and think KFC. Okay. So now do I need common denominator? Still no, because I'm still multiplying and dividing. So what do? I simply just multiply across. Multiply numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. So negative 16 times 6, negative 84. 3 times 7, 21. Okay, is this a good final answer? Will I get full marks? Why not? It's not reduced. What goes into both? 7? Okay, let's try 7. Divide by 7 on the top, divide by 7 on the bottom. I get negative 12. 1 second, let me just finish this. Okay. What else do you realize? Yeah, I can go deeper. What can I divide? Yeah, so what's my final answer? Minus 4. That's right. So here, if you actually try it on the calculator, negative 84 divided by 21, you'll see that it actually goes in evenly. All right, but why did I still do the 7? As I said, it doesn't matter if it takes you 2 steps or 5 steps. I got to answer. I got to the final answer. So it's okay if it takes you an extra step. Okay. So 2 common mistakes that I want to point out. One is people like to leave out the minus signs in the questions. And 2, when they get to this part, they know to keep, change, and flip. And then suddenly they go into making a common denominator. So that's the second common mistake people do. Okay. Okay, let's just do one last one. One last one, and then that's it for today. All right. Final one I want to do. Okay. So this first bracket right here, -1/2 square, is that just positive 1/2? Okay, what is -1/2 square? Dean?
1.
Over. All right, so 1/2. Who has a different answer? 1/4. That's right. Why? That's why the bracket is important. When you square, you are squaring both the top and the bottom because it's in brackets. If there's no brackets, then it will be 1/2. If there's brackets, so this becomes 1/4. Right? So now in that case, what is this one then? 4/5 square is Sean Marco? No? Okay. Luca?
16/25.
Awesome. Okay. What about this part? Again, I have to change it to a mixed improper fraction. So Charles?
13/10.
Yep. So multiply and add. So you get 13/10. Okay. There's two different ways you can do this. One way, you can reduce the fractions, or you can just multiply across and worry about reducing after. Both way works. I just like to keep it simple and do the reducing at the end, actually. Okay, so you can multiply across. You get 16/100. Take away 13/10. Because I multiply, right? Remember? When I multiply, I don't need common denominator. I just multiply across. So 1 times 16 is 16. 4 times 25 is 100. Right? Now I'm subtracting. I'm subtracting. So what do I need? Common denominator. And what's the common denominator between 100 and 10? 100. You could do 1,000. Again, you could multiply these two and get the common denominator. If it's not obvious, do that. It will always work. It will just take you an extra step of reducing at the end. Right? So since this is already over 100, it means I don't need to change anything. I just copy this full fraction down. Okay. To get from here to here, what do I have to do? Dean?
Multiply by 10.
Yeah, times the top by 10 times the bottom by 10. So I get 130. Okay. Now that I have the lowest common denominator, I can just subtract the top. So 16 minus 130, I get -114. If I leave this as my final answer, will I get full marks? Yeah, reduce. Okay. If you don't reduce, half a mark off. Okay. How do I know I can always reduce? 114 is an even number, 100 is an even number. So I can always divide by 2. 114 divided by 2, -57. 100 divided by 2, 50. Okay. Oh, and guess what? Answer was right here. Okay. Okay, so you can see my lesson today is 25 minutes. I have the Oops, I have the timer right here. Okay, so you can tell, as I said, each day my lesson is only going to be about 20 minutes long. We did a couple of examples today. It should be enough for you guys to finish the rest of the page. Right? This one, do try it. Make sure you show your steps. Don't skip step because you might run into some careless mistakes here. You have to do bed maths. Okay? So I'm gonna give you guys the since it's only the second day of class, I still want you guys to like ease into the course. So I'm gonna give you guys the rest of the class time to work on these. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. If what happens if it's not done in class? Do it at home, homework. Okay, but I do want you guys to start now during class time. While I'm here to help you, assist you. Okay, so just do these ones. Start on this. If second page, yeah. If you finish and you want to challenge yourself, you're really good at math, you want to move on, by all means, you can move on to this. We'll start on this tomorrow. So you can get a head start on tomorrow's lesson if you want. Okay, sounds good? Okay, you have a good 40 minutes to work on this and have no homework tonight. Okay?